Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here for Married at First Sight. And it is decision day, y'all. It is decision day. Can y'all believe it? We finally made it. We made it, y'all. High five. We need a trophy. No, we need a cash prize. Forget a trophy. We need a cash prize. Everybody in this audience who has been tuning in to Married at First Sight lifetime need to send us a check. A check. But can y'all believe it? Can y'all believe that Becca said yes? I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe after everything he said, he's not done, he's done everything, that she would have wanted to continue on with this mess. She really believed the sauce that if they left the cameras and they went away from the cameras, all of a sudden Austin was going to want to sleep with her. Austin was going to really want to love on her. She believed everything that he was saying. At first she was talking about, it's hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe. Good girl. I'm with you. Go ahead. It's hard for you to believe. She's saying, I'm hearing what he's saying, but what I see is completely different. She says, I hear him saying it will be different, but when I look at him, when the cameras are gone, it don't look no different. I don't know what to do. So she chose to believe her ears. And she said yes to this man. And I don't even believe why Austin said yes. Why is Austin continuing this charade? Why would he want to continue? Does Austin need some money? Is this really all about money? Because we know Austin doesn't really want to be with Becca. Okay. What is the charade for? Who is Austin trying to convince that he really wants to be with Becca? Right? What is the point of it, Austin? We know it's not true. We know it's not true. And finally, the moment I've been waiting for, I don't know about y'all, but I've been waiting for the moment to see all these people together in one spot having real conversation. This was the first time in the whole season I felt that all these couples got together and had real conversations. I was saying it before that I hadn't seen enough moments of all the men together talking real stuff, because it was so much lying. That's why I called my thumbnail Liar Liar. It was so much lying going on this season. I really wanted to get all the men together, because one thing I know is once you get everybody together in one room, it stops the lies, because there's going to be too many people there to say, stop, that's a lie. It's going to be too many people that are going to be able to speak up and say you're a liar. We've seen on this show that we still got Brennan over here lying, talking about he was protecting Emily. You weren't protecting Emily, Brennan. Let's keep going over this. Brennan, one is you were protecting your image. But y'all, I'm going to go a step further on what I think Brennan was protecting. In a lot of ways, I started to understand Brennan a little bit more when he said I was protecting Emily. And what Brennan was protecting Emily from was the beast within. Okay. You ever been in a fight with someone and someone starts taunting you? And they go, what? You ain't got nothing to say? What? Say something. What? Say something. And you be like, no, you really don't want me to say nothing. Because I'm going to tell you, if I start to speak, my words are going to rip you at your core. They're going to rip you at your core. And to be honest with you, I don't want to become the Hulk out here. I think Brennan has a Hulk inside. We've been calling him Jeffrey Dahmer and all these other kind of different things. I believe it. Brennan has a Hulk that lives within him. And when you unleash that, I believe it can be explosive. I think that Hulk was unleashed a few times behind closed doors. And that's why Brennan wanted the footage not shown. He was protecting his image. Yes. But he was, in a way, what he's saying is, I really do want to protect Emily, because Emily ain't never seen that side of me. And that's the side of me that got inherited from my daddy, right? Because I'm quite sure, like I said, I know all this stuff where Brennan comes from. I'm quite sure he inherited that Hulk from that daddy. And the problem is Emily ain't Brennan's mama. Emily likes to talk back. Emily likes to chime back. You saw here on the decision moment how Emily came to fight. That's why I believe it. I believe Brennan. When they were arguing over these little words about when Emily said, oh, he said he could ruin me on TV. And Brennan said, well, that's because you said you was coming for war. I believe Brennan. I believe Emily did say that. I believe Emily said she was ready for war because the way she stomped up in there in them high heel shoes, she was ready for war. Emily couldn't even wait for the experts to ask her a question. As soon as Brennan started talking, she was all over him. All over him. Emily likes to fight. I don't care what Emily tells me. I know that Emily likes to fight. And so what happens is that doesn't do well with a man like Brennan who's got the Hulk living within him. Because that fight in Emily provokes the Hulk. It provokes the Hulk even more. Makes him come out. So when Brennan is saying, I'm trying to protect Emily, for once, I finally got it. And I don't know why the experts didn't get it. There's supposed to be all these psychologists and psychiatrists. But what I didn't like about that moment with Brennan and Emily is that people actually weren't taking the time to try to really understand what Brennan was saying. They just kept saying he wasn't taking any accountability. And what they failed to realize was actually Emily wasn't taking any accountability either. During that whole breakup scene, that whole no, I want to get a divorce scene, Emily never ever said anything she did wrong or what she could do differently. Never. It was all about forcing Brennan to take accountability. And I don't know how these people can be experts or therapists or anything like that. But if at any point in time you're trying to get a person to take accountability, I'm quite sure it's a therapeutic maneuver to also for you to take accountability for what you think should happen. I don't know. I just don't understand how you can sit there and demand accountability from Brennan. And we know he got a lot of things he needs to be accountable for, but yet they never asked Emily to have any accountability. It wasn't until the end of this show, when they were all sitting outside at that patio after they had the big blow up, that Emily finally came over to Brennan, sat next to Brennan and said, hey, you know what? I just want to let you know that I'm not perfect. What? You're not perfect, little Miss Emily? You're not perfect? Oh, you know I did some things wrong. What? Emily, what were the things that you did wrong? To this day, I challenge anyone to tell me what Emily has admitted to in doing wrong in the relationship with Brennan. And let me tell you, when you never ever can admit to anything you do wrong, more than likely the person sitting across from you is not going to feel any reason to admit anything either. I don't blame 100% Brennan for this breakup in this marriage because it doesn't matter where it started first, whether it started with Emily first or Brennan first. And I still do believe it started with Emily first. I do. I believe it started with her first. Okay. But I don't believe she's not introspective. She doesn't look at anything that might be a turnoff about her. Right? She automatically blames the other person. And after a while, I think it completely enraged Brennan. I think the Hulk started raising up more and more in him. And I think that Hulk is in him anyway. And when he sat there, I listened to it because it was a long time that Dr. Pia, Mr. Calvin, Dr. Pepper, they were all trying to tell Brennan, oh, this is bull crap. No, don't take any accountability. But they never really listened to him. They never even for a moment say, explain what you mean by protection. Give me more. Ask more probing questions. Their questions were just to deny what Brennan was saying. But I took some time to listen to Brennan. No matter how foolish I thought he sounded, I took some time to listen. And when I listened to him, I started to get the sense that the real person Brennan was protecting was himself, which we all knew. He was protecting his optics. He was protecting his image. And people were trying to say, no, you weren't. But he was, because I think Brennan has such nasty words living inside of him that what he was saying was, if I unleash these nasty words onto you, it will crush you. It will crush you. I originally took it as, I don't want to tell Emily's secrets. You know, a lot of times I was thinking, oh, I don't want to tell Emily's secrets. It'll make her look bad. No, I think what he was saying was, once I get started down that road and I open up my mouth, I might can't turn it off. I might can't control it. Y'all never had no moment like that when somebody kept taunting you and you kept saying, leave me alone, stop bullying me, stop following me, stop asking me my thoughts. Because if I really start telling you my thoughts, if I really start opening up my mouth, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to wish you never asked me to open up my mouth. Y'all never ever been there before? And you couple that with a person like Brennan, who I think Brennan is either on or off. That's what I think he is. I think he's either on or off. I don't think it's a whole lot of middle ground for Brennan. I think that when he's angry, you either want him to be quiet and go sit in the corner and calm down, because if you keep prodding him to open up his mouth, I think hell and fury opens up. That's what I believe. I believe hell and fury opens up because I think that's what he grew up in his household. I think his home was hell and fury. I've always believed that. And so what Brennan has done to cope with that is he does one or two things. Either hell or fury comes out the Hulk, or he says, I'm going to be quiet. Let me be quiet. Don't let me talk. Because if you let me talk, it's going to get real ugly up in here. But what I like, my favorite moment out of all this was the ending. When they were all sitting around the campfire and everybody came around and everybody got to finally speak. And what we saw was that the biggest liars of the whole season has absolutely turned out to be Claire and Austin. We knew Austin was the biggest liar of the men. And boy, did he show it this week. Boy, did he show it. You mean to tell me after this girl, Becca, foolishly says yes to him on decision day, he decides that night, in celebration of staying together and making our marriage work, the moment you've been waiting for, Austin, the moment you've been waiting for, which is to be away from the cameras and the producers, you go out with Brennan and a producer. There's some insinuation that he wants to be with the producer. That's the one he wants to fool around with. There's some insinuation that all along this season, Brennan, the producer, had something going on. I don't believe it. I know they're using the word he, she, but that don't mean nothing these days. Pronouns. It means nothing to me these days. I will believe it when I see it to be true. Okay? I don't know what that producer is. They may be calling her a she, but that may just be the preferred pronoun out here these days. Nowadays, people call themselves they. He, she, they. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to assume it. I'm not going to believe just because I heard that Austin went out with a producer that all of a sudden the reason is because he likes the producer. Because somebody dropped down in my comments and said now Austin was going out with a ex-girlfriend. Somebody else said that. Okay, all these beards. Can't nobody convince me right now, okay, until I meet a woman that tells me and Austin are together and we sleeping together, I won't believe it. Tell you that right now. I won't believe it. I don't want to hear nothing about who Austin is dating, who he's going out with, because it came out his own mouth that typically in a relationship, he waits at least 6 months before he has sex with them. So I don't want to meet nobody telling me, oh, he's going out with this person. Nope. Come to me after you're being intimate. Come to me after you're having sex. And then we can start talking. But going out to have a drink with a producer and someone just uses the word she, I don't know what that is. It could be a he, she. It could be anything. It could be a they. It could be a we. I don't know. We in 2024 and people get to call themselves and use any pronoun that they want to. It's their preference. It's their desire. And I'm with it. So until I see you in person, I will go by your pronoun. But then after I see you, then I can make a determination on what really is going on. And until then, I don't know what's going on, because for all we know, that producer could have been there for Brennan. It could have been there for Brennan. But the fact that when Becca asked him to his face, were you out with a producer? And this man lied to her face. He lied to everyone's face. He must have known everyone knew the truth, but he still lied. That's when you know you're dealing with a real liar. A real liar. That even once the liar knows that they are caught, they still deny it. That's when you know you're dealing with a real professional liar. Not a person who lies, says, well, if I get away with it, I get away with it. But once I get caught, I'm going to confess. I'm going to sing like a canary. Nah. Real good liars lie to the end. Real good liars will lie to you and you're sitting there in front of your face. A real good liar, you'll say, hey, that's a gray shirt you have on, Deborah. A real liar will say, that's ain't gray. You say, I'm looking dead at the shirt. It's gray. It ain't gray. It's purple. Why are you lying? It's gray. No, it's purple. That's a real good liar. And that's Austin. This is why Becca's talking about she going crazy because she don't know what's the real or what's the truth, because she's dealing with a real professional pathological liar. And let me tell you, you know what else he's been lying about this whole time? His sexuality. Austin's whole life is a lie, y'all. His whole life is a lie. If you go back to everything he's talking about in this whole season about religion was a big deal with Becca, it was never a big deal. It was never a big deal. He brought that up. Everything Austin has made up this whole season. Austin is the biggest liar out of everyone. He's lying about his sexuality. And I don't care if somebody says stop talking about it. It's a lie. He's not comfortable with it. He's not solid in it. He's not pure heterosexual. I don't know how you slice it or dice it. I don't care. I don't care if you want to call him fluid. I don't want to care if you want to call him bisexual. I don't know if you want to call him bi-curious. I don't care what label you put on it. That's not my problem. I don't care about that. But I'm going to tell you right now, he is not only wants to date women. Let's put it that way. It's not true. It's not true. And he struggles with it. He struggles with being accepted by it. And he becomes a liar out here in these streets. Austin is a liar completely about who he is, what he likes to do, what he's interested in. His whole life is a liar. When I saw him lie to Becca's face like that, cameras on him, 15 eyes on him, I said, good Lord, he's a liar. You're not now dealing with a person who's lying to Becca behind closed doors, one-on-one, and we don't get to see everything, and lying because he wants to keep his image on this TV show. You now gone to a man sitting in front of 10 people. One of those men, Brennan, was with him when he was out with that producers. You had Claire and Emily who saw them with their own two eyes. Everyone knew it was the truth, but this man still lied. My gosh, this is the depth of your lying. This is the degree of your lying. This is horrible. He ain't no different. He ain't no different from Brennan. No better. No better. But this was the moment where we should have got here sooner. We should have got here in this moment where we could all sit together and everybody could have got confronted on their lies. Because you know who else was exposed as the biggest liar? Claire. And boy, oh boy, did Cameron let it rip and call her the biggest manipulator of all. And he was dead on about it. Because you know who Claire also manipulated? It finally clicked for me, y'all, in that last scene where they're all sitting around outside on the patio deck. It finally clicked about Claire. We already knew Claire was lying. We already knew Claire was faking it with Cameron. We already knew Claire was on the phone trying to pretend like she's calling Cameron, right? But in the end, it was Cameron who said, right now, when they blew up and Cameron was away off camera and talking about how Claire was such a manipulator, he said, right now I know my phone is blowing up because what Claire is doing is Claire's trying to handle me. Claire's trying to make sure I don't expose her secrets behind closed doors. Because we come to find out what Claire was doing, because we know Claire is negative. Claire is negative Nancy all the way. We come to find out that not only was Claire trying to protect her image, Claire was really the dude. See, the ladies were all bonding over the fact that the men were trying to protect their image, that it was the men who were faking the funk in the marriages, and they were trying to protect their image. They were trying to keep things off camera. So all the women are bonding over that. And what they thought was Claire was one of them. Claire was on their side. Claire was another victim of the men. But what Claire was doing to the women, she was manipulating them too. She didn't want the women to know that, no, in my relationship with Cameron, I'm actually the villain. I'm the one telling him that I don't like him. I'm the one telling him all those nasty things behind closed doors and then being on camera and saying something different. So what Claire was doing was Claire was going over and bonding with the women, trying to pretend that she was a victim of Cameron. In actuality, she was the perpetrator. She was the perpetrator of Cameron. She was another deep liar. A deep, deep, deep liar. You talk about a deep fake. You talk about a deep fake. Claire was not only lying and faking out Cameron, Claire was lying and faking out the women. A double fake. A double fake. You gotta be kidding me, Miss Claire. When Cameron busted her wide open and Claire was talking about, yeah, all of us were restricted on the words that we could say. We all couldn't speak our mind. We were suppressed. We were silenced. And Cameron said, wait a minute. When were you ever silenced and suppressed? I was the silenced one. She said, oh, you silenced me about Emily. And Cameron said, I told you that you shouldn't be speaking on Emily and Brennan's marriage. And Claire took that as, oh, you silencing me. No, that's not the same thing. Me silencing you over speaking about someone else's marriage, nasty, in a nasty way, is not silencing you over you speaking about how you feel in this marriage. Claire turned that whole situation around when she wanted to be nasty about someone else's marriage. She turned that around till she was silenced, because we know what Claire wants to do. Claire wants to be negative about everybody. Did you see the way Claire looked at Michael and Chloe when they were talking about how wonderfully they're getting along with each other? Did you see Claire's face? She didn't like it one bit. She hated it. She hated it. She hated it. Claire loved to be the person this season who brought back nasty information to everybody else. She was the one who relished bringing back the nasty information to Emily. Oh yeah, Brennan and Cameron are out here talking about they want to go on a double date. We come to find out that it wasn't even Brennan who said it. I believe it. I don't believe Cameron would lie and say he was the one who said it just to protect Brennan. I don't believe it. I think it was Claire who took the words and twisted the words the way that she wanted to give them to Emily, because she wanted to deliver nasty words to Emily. Because see, she can't go back and say it was Cameron who wants to go out on a double date with everybody else. No, she wanted to come back to Emily and deliver some nasty words to Emily to make Emily feel even less. Claire is horrible. Horrible. She not only wanted to make herself look good, she wanted Cameron to look bad, and she also wanted to break up all these other marriages, because misery loves company, and she wanted a whole lot of company. She had a lot of help from these men. Let's be real about it. But let me tell you, Claire put a lot of daggers in things, and we come to find out that Claire might be a bigger manipulator than Austin, because Claire not only was lying to Cameron and all of us, she was also lying to the ladies. She was lying to the ladies. She was a double fake, a freaking double agent fake. All that fake and phony and nice and pleasantries they were talking about when they were sitting at their decision couch. Oh, you're so wonderful. You're so wonderful. You're so wonderful. Oh, you've made me such a better person. Blah, 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 blah. And the minute they got outside at that little barbecue patio area, everything got ripped open. They don't admire each other. That was all fake and phony too. And I was so happy that Cameron said, the way I look at you is I look at you like a friend, like a sister. That's how I look at you. There ain't nothing here for you. And the actuality is it left a long time ago. It left a long time ago. By the third week, it was gone. It was gone. Completely gone. Because you see what Claire did was Claire started off negative. Negative, 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 negative. Negative. Then Claire decided she was going to lie and try to go to this fakery. See, what Claire did was she saw the fakery that the men were doing in the other relationships, and Claire said, I'm going to do that in my relationship. That's what I believe. I believe that Claire saw from the very beginning that none of these men liked their wives. In the first 3 weeks, she saw it. And what Claire decided to do was, that's a good thing, because I don't really like my husband either. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal a page out the man's book. I'm going to start lying to and pretending like I like Cameron. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a double agent fake person. And I'm going to tell all the ladies that I'm a victim of Cameron. What a mess. What a mess. And sitting there in front of the producers, all that fakery and phonery and everything they were talking about, it all fell apart when they got in this big group circle and it all came out. There ain't going to be no friendship here. What for? They don't even like each other. Let's be real. They don't like each other. These were horrible matches. Mr. Calvin up here talking about Austin and Becca got things in common. They have so many things in common. No, they don't. Name them. Name them. You can't have nothing in common with a person who's a liar like Austin. Austin lies to himself. You don't even know who the real Austin is, so you can never count on you got anything in common with Austin. There's nothing anyone can tell me. Nothing. Please don't drop down in my comments this week talking about I'm tired of listening to the whole gay thing. Don't drop into my comments telling me that, because I don't believe it. I was happy Becca finally got the enough nerve to kick that man to the curb. And the ladies had to help her along. The ladies kept saying, okay, what you gonna do next, Becca? What you gonna do? What you gonna do with that information? It took her a long time. Even after he sat there and lied in her face, it took her a long time. It took her a long time to say the words, no, you're not the man for me. I even thought she was about to give him a second chance. He lied to her face, and I thought she was about to give him another chance. Another chance. Finally, it seemed like she got enough nerve and enough encouragement to get over the hump. Good Lord, go get therapy. Just like Emily said, we all gonna need therapy after that. You sure are. Head straight from this scene to therapy. Everybody on here needs to head straight to therapy. They talking about, Dr. Pepper talking about, well, if we can't do a love match, then what we would like to do is leave everybody in a better place than they came in so they can go on and have successful relationships. Nah, Dr. Pepper, you did a lot of damage this season. Y'all did a lot of damage to these people. A lot of these people came in already had problems. We see that for sure. But let me tell you, you putting them together has done more damage to these people. Emily's going to need years of therapy. Years of it. Becca going to need years of therapy. And oh my gosh. I almost forgot about Lauren and Orion. Is anybody else sick of Lauren? Is anybody sick of Lauren talking about the door is back open to friendship? Why, Lauren? Lauren acts like she's so enlightened. So enlightened. I don't understand why her enlightenment can't have her move on. Why? Why is she still seeking a relationship with this man? Why? Is it because now that she's seen how the season has turned out, she feels as if, wow, Orion's not that bad compared to these men? I don't know what's going on with her. But I know she says she has a therapist. She needs to get rid of that therapist. That's not the therapist for her. She needs a different therapist. Call me, Lauren. Call me. I'll put my number down in the description box. I do one-on-ones with people these days. Call me, because I'm not no licensed doctor, but I might be the person you need to hear the truth from. Right? I'm talking to other people. Other people call me. You can call me, Lauren, and I'll give you some advice. And what my advice is going to be is to move on. Move on. Don't even be friends. You don't need to be friends with him. What for? Why do you feel the need to keep cultivating a relationship with Orion? Why? Because you know what? You dodged a bullet, Lauren, by ending your marriage early. But instead of you counting your graces, counting your blessings and moving on, it's almost as if you decided, man, I got cheated out on the full experience of Becca and Emily. I want to go through what they went through. I need to go back in, because I actually, even though I thought I was hurt, I actually kind of got off good compared to these ladies. These ladies had to endure this for 8 weeks. I had to endure it for 3 weeks. But instead of being happy about that, you decide to get back in the car, go back to the scene of the accident and say, hey, can everybody crash my car too so I can feel part of this group again? Why? Why are you glutton for punishment? Call me, Lauren. You may not want to hear it, but it may be what you need to hear. You may not want to hear it, but it may be what you need to hear. You need to get a new person to talk to. The person you're talking to, your therapist, your healer, I don't know who you're going to, is not helping, is not getting the job done. You need something else. And the last little scene they showed with Chloe and Michael, good Lord, y'all, what's going on there? The bathtub scene where Michael tells Chloe, when 30 days come, I don't know if I've seen enough. Good Lord. They said they smashed. They said they had sex. Good Lord. Please don't tell us we're about to get faked out by Michael too. Lord have mercy, y'all. Please don't tell us we're about to get faked out by Michael too. But we'll have to see next week what that scene was all about. Are we getting tricked again? What's going on? But I'm glad we're done with decision day for these three people. I'm really glad we are done. But I will talk to you later. Bye.